Assalamu alaikum guys, and welcome to another episode of I hope you watched the videos that I did on Logan Paul, where he said some derogatory and sickening comments towards Jesus, peace be upon him.
Why we have to perpetuate a belief that is silly. Jesus Christ
and towards religion in general. And I think credit should be given where credit is due. In his recent podcast, he made an unequivocal apology and he retracted that.
I defamed Jesus and God and I felt his wrath.
Hopefully this will be a wake-up call for him. And I remember one of the points that I made was, look, even if you're an atheist or even somebody who's not practicing, saying derogatory comments towards religion and spirituality, you're picking a fight with things that you just don't understand. And it's ironic that he said,
it was very telling to me how the karmic energy of the universe, this is what I'll call it, just went right back around and put me in my place.
So that being said, hopefully this will be a learning curve for him. But the point that we want to discuss here is the point that he said about evolution and again about science. Yeah, let's have a look.
I also don't believe it's an incredibly progressive practice to deny scientific evidence and evolution in favor of creationism.
Firstly, when you say not progressive, yeah, what's the yardstick? What are we measuring this by? Because if you look at the moral decline of civilization, that's not very progressive. In fact, it's actually regressive when it comes to morals, how we treat each other in terms of morality. Atheism cannot prove whether something is right or whether something is wrong. Whether a person spending his time saving people's lives is better in morality than somebody that's just sitting and watching paint dry. They can't prove that one is better than the other. And when it comes to putting our parents in old people's homes, euthanasia, legalized prostitution, sexual deviancy, hitting new heights, the list goes on and on. So when it comes to morality, humanity is coming downwards. However, if you measure us by technology, indeed, technologically, we are advancing. So my question would be, what's the yardstick and who decides what the yardstick for progress is? Because I say that the yardstick for progress should be morality, which is more important than technology. Number two, he talks about scientific evidence. Yeah, firstly, scientific evidence is predicated on the scientific method, which again relies on falsification. But if you look at the science that's done today, it's the exact opposite. You find a hypothesis, then you go to prove your hypothesis is correct. We've seen this at play for the Higgs boson, for dark matter, this notion that something came from nothing, the multiverse, and the list goes on and on. So when you talk about denying scientific evidence, science today denies scientific evidence. Wanted to thank my sponsor Muslim Mastery for offering a free workshop to those who want to improve their confidence, especially at a time where it's definitely needed in pretty much every aspect of your life. Link in the description. The next point's about evolution. And here is where he has made an error. Yeah, this is a category mistake.
I think evolution is the designer.
Right. Evolution and Big Bang are mechanisms. And God is a creator of mechanisms. Let me just elaborate that. It's a small analogy. It's like a Ford car. I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, how does it work? And somebody explains to me how it works. They give me the mechanisms. That doesn't mean that Henry Ford now ceases to exist. Henry Ford will always be there, even though I know how the pistons work, how I know how the hydraulics work. Similarly with the world. Us knowing how things work doesn't exclude the designer. Good? And lastly, creationism. Yeah, this is the notion that the origin of the universe has come via divine acts. Now, this doesn't make sense because on the one hand, he says that he believes in a God or energy. Now, I would tell you, if you didn't believe in a God, that there cannot be an infinite regress of dependent things. Yeah, one thing depending on another, on another, on another. Eventually, there has to be an end to that chain, which we call the necessary being, which philosophically makes sense, logically makes sense, and ontologically makes sense as well. But then again, on the other hand, you accept that there is a necessary being, whether you call it energy or a spiritual being or God or whatnot. So I don't understand. You also believe in creationism, that everything began with a divine act from God. So, I mean, either you're being contradictory or you're lying, or you just don't know about this stuff. And I implore you to learn about this stuff because you have a big platform. Sit with people of knowledge, learn about this stuff, because you're making major blunders. And even the little clips that I took of what you said last time, they are fundamental mistakes that have been smashed in the last 10 years. What you're saying is actually 10 years old, mate. So let's leave it there, guys. Until next time, Assalamu alaikum.